Hello, students, and welcome to the lecture. So, students, basically, in this lecture, we are going to start the topic of union and its territory. And this is an important topic from the examination point of view. All right. And basically, you could say that these are the topics which we are going to cover in this particular series. Like, we are going to talk about the introduction. What do you mean by the union and its territories? Thereafter, what we'll see, we will see the union of states. Thereafter, we will see the parliament's power, then the exchange of territories, which we have done so far, and the evolution of states and the union territories. Okay, so these are the five main headings we are going to learn about in the series of union and its territories. All right, so please pay the attention here. Why? Because this is an important topic from the examination point of view. So when we talk about the basic introduction part, then always remember that India is a democracy, and basically everything which we have in our country is having two faces, constitutional faces and the non-constitutional faces. It means that majority of things we have already mentioned in the constitution, and the non-constitution things are those which were not mentioned in the constitution, but remember these were powered by the constitution. All right, it means some of the provisions are related with the constitution. Nothing could be existed in this country which having no resemblance with the constitution. Why? Because when we talk about the democracy, then the constitution is the must. All right. So, similarly, when we talk about India, all right. So, what comes in your mind? The first thing, the map of India will come to your mind, right? That we know that there is a map of India. Like, let me try to make it. Okay. Like this. All right. So that maps comes in your mind. I know that the map is little bit you can say not so good to explain the country. But pardon me, I am not so good at drawing. All right. So basically, but the main thing is there, like that comes in your mind. All right. We know that that particular territory boundary denotes a country which we call as an India, Bharat, Hindustan, Jambudweep. All right. And there are so many local names of this country also. All right. So we know that that is an Indian country. Got it? What here is to talk about? Like basically, as I have told you, in the country in which we are living in, all the things are being powered by the book which we call as a constitution. All right. So whatsoever the boundaries we have, how we work together to keep safeguard these boundaries. How these boundaries, and you can say there are so many states in the country, like in India, there is 28 territorial divisions, which we oftenly called as an state. All right, and there are 9 UTs also. Even there are some, you could say, there are some island nations also. All right, so that is the main thing. Like how these things are combined together. How these territorial divisions, which we call as an state or UTs, they operate together. How they all merge together to form a country. All of these things happen only because of one book, which we call as a Constitution of India. All right. And basically, if we talk about the Constitution, then the Constitution contains articles, Article 1 to Article 4, in part first of the Constitution, which deals with the Union and its territory. Union means India, territory means the boundaries, the divisions, the islands, what we have together. All right. So that is the first thing. So I hope that you have got the basic introduction and the basic build up before we go further into the series. Okay. So basically, now when we talk about the union and its territories, the first thing which we could see here is the union of states. So first is the Article 1 of the Indian Constitution describe India, that is a Bharat, as a union of states rather than federation of states. Okay. So basically, if we talk about India or Indian Constitution, then remember there are two main constitution in the world, all right, which having the great influence on the Indian Constitution. And what are these two constitution? The British Constitution. Another one is American Constitution. All right, because so many things we have borrowed from here. All right, that's why it is saying that these two constitution having the great influence on the Indian Constitution. Got my point? All right. So basically, if we look at the Article 1, then Article 1 said that India is a India is union of state, not a federation of state. All right. So what is the difference between these two? Like, what do we mean when we talk about the union of state, and what do we mean when we talk about the federation of state? All right. So basically, to understand this thing, first we have to understand the US. All right. Then only we will be able to get the exact difference between the union and the federation. So basically, if we, all right, basically, if we talk about United States of America, okay, United States of America. So what happened? That America is basically a continent, all right, and USA is lies in the North American part, okay, along with Canada, all right, and there are total 50, or you can say nearly about 55 states. I do not know the exact number. You can check it on the Google. All right. There are total 55 state or 55 territorial division within the boundary of USA. All right. And there is a thing that there is two types of government, like the federal government, which is in the center. All right. Another one is state government, which ruling the particular state. All right. So you could say that most of the things are common like India, but what makes difference here? Basically, India having the constitution, USA also having the constitution. But in USA, there are two types of constitution. Like there is a federal constitution which applies in the all over country or all these 55 states, and there are also the constitution for every each and every particular state. It means that these 55 states having their own constitution. All right. And there is combined constitution for all these 55 states. So there are two constitutions. All right. Thereafter, another thing which we talk about is the citizenship. All right. Like in USA, there are dual citizenship. There is dual citizenship. Why? Because there is a citizenship for the USA as a country, And if you're living in any particular state, for example, you are living in the state of California. You are living in the state of California. All right. Then you are required to obtain the citizenship for the California as well as for the US. So there are dual citizenship, dual constitution, and there is dual powers. All right. The federal government having the power to rule the country, and the state government having all the powers to rule the particular state. Got it? So I hope that things now have been clear to you regarding the USA. Now come to the country of India, which we call as a Union of India, not United. All right. So basically, when we talk about the Union of India, I had told you that there is 28 state or territorial division and 9 union territory. Got it? That's the first thing. Thereafter, another thing which we talk about is that there is also the union government at the center. All right. And also we having the state government for each and every respective state. Right? Things seems little bit common for both for USA and India. Now there is a difference. Like if we talk about the constitution, a book which generally deals with the country of India in matters of democracy. All right. So if we talk about constitution, then basically India having the single constitution for the union as well as for the state. It means there is no concept of dual constitution, which was in the case of USA, that the federal constitution is different from the state constitution. Or you can say state having their own constitution. There is nothing like that in India. All right. Similarly, if we talk about citizenship, all right. So remember, in India, there is always single citizenship. All right. So you could write it here also. Single citizenship. Okay. So if suppose someone is living in India and someone living any of the state of India, for example, someone is living in the state of Karnataka. All right. So what happened? That the person is not required to obtain the citizenship for India as a country and for Karnataka as a state. If the person is Indian, then he could reside any of the state and UTs without obtaining any particular citizenship for any of the particular state or the UT. All right, that is the thing. Third thing which is different is that, however, India having a division of powers. It means that union government is different, state government is different. All right, and they both could exercise their power based on the matters listed in union list and matters listed in the state list. All right, both could utilize their powers. But remember, whenever there is a need, then more powerful and you can say entire power will be restored to the union government only. Got it? That's the difference. All right. Like when we talk about the federation, like the like the America, then they having the federal government, state government, both having their own constitution. So there is a dual constitution. They having their own citizenship. So the person who is living in the USA and, for example, living in the state of California, he is required to obtain the citizenship for the USA and the California also. Thereafter, state government having their own powers, federal government having their own powers. All right. Similar things. happen in India, but there is a single constitution for the union and for the state. There is a single citizenship. All right. There is a power division which gets power by the union list and the state list. But remember, whenever times comes, the union government will have the entire control over the thing. Got it? That's the difference. And why the difference is there? Because of the single thing that when we talk about the America, when we talk about the America, or you can say as the United States of America, and when we talk about Union of India, then remember there is a one slight difference why all these things present in USA and absent in India. That this is an result of an agreement. State having right to decede from country on will. All right. But when we talk about Union of India, then this is not a result of an agreement. States having no right to decede from country on will. So that is the single difference between both. In the case of United States of America, result of an agreement, state having right to decede from country on will. When we talk about Union of India, it's not a result of any kind of agreement. States having no right to decede from country on will. All right. So remember this thing. All right. So remember, whenever we talk about India, as per the article first, then it described India as a union of state, not like a federation of state. This provisions deals with two things. One, name of the country, and two, type of the polity. All right. Name of the country, it means that we call India, which is a Bharat. All right. And basically, when we talk about type of polity or the political structure, then basically, what do we mean by this? We mean that India is the union of state, not a federation of state. All right. And what is the difference between the two? I have explained you in a detailed form. There was no unanimity in the Constituent Assembly with regard to the name of country. It means that when the Constituent Assembly was existed, because we know that after the cabinet mission, which was sent in the 1946 by the British government, all right, we had formulated a Constituent Assembly in our country, which sole responsibility is that to make a constitution for the country, right? So when the name was decided as a Bharat, then basically there was no kind of anonymity amongst the Constituent Assembly members with regard to the name of the country. No one objected that we should make this name, and that name. All right. Some members suggested the traditional name Bharat, while other advocated the modern name India. All right. But there was a mixed conception. Like some people were targeting the name as a Bharat, that they were recommending that should rename the country as a Bharat, which was a traditional name. And remember, basically in the ancient India, let me tell you one thing. In the ancient India, there was a tribe which we call as a Bharata tribe. All right. They ruled India for a significant time. That's why India was called as a Bharat, named after them. All right. So that's why it is known as a traditional name. Whereas when the British and the Europeans came to the country, they named India, all right, to denote the country in which we are living in. So some of the Constituent Assembly members were advocating the name as a Bharat. Some of them are advocating as an India. All right. Hence, the Constituent Assembly had to adopt a mix of both. All right, which is India, that is Bharat. All right. Secondly, the country is described as union, although its constitution is federal in structure. So you could say that, however, we call our country as a union. It means that it means that no state having the right to secede from the country on a whim. But if we talk about the government structure, then we know it's very much similar to the federal structure. Like government is divided, all right, state having their own powers, union having their own powers in respect of the matters listed in the union list and the state list. All right. So that is the thing. But even in the constitution, as per Article 1, we never call India as a federation of state. We always emphasize that India is a union of state. All right. According to the B.R. Ambedkar, the phrase union of state has been preferred to the federation of state for two reasons. Why we called union of state, not a federation of state? Because of two reasons. One, the Indian Federation is not the result of an agreement among the states like the American Federation, as I have told you. Two, the states have no right to secede from the Federation. Okay, that was the two main reasons. Like you can say, like the as per the American Constitution, we have also the two types of government: federal government or the state government. But what makes up different from them is that India, or you can say Indian states, are not a result of any kind of agreement which is present in the case of American Constitution. Secondly, that no state having the right to secede from the country or the federation at any time. All right. So the federation is a union because it is indestructible. Why? Because no state could leave India. All right. The country is an integral whole and divided into different states only for the convenience of the administration. All right. So basically, you could say like this one. All right. Basically, this is the entire land of the Indian country. I haven't mentioned the islands here. All right, because we already know that there are two islands which we have: Lakshadweep and the Andaman Nicobar. All right. So basically, this is the entire land, including the islands. All right. So what B.R. Ambedkar Sahab said, he said that basically India is a country as a whole. Why? Because there is a single constitution apply on the entire country and its territories. There is a single citizenship apply on the country and as a territory. But because India is a vast country and it is not possible to administer the country as a whole in an effective and efficient manner, that's why we had introduced the division. All right. Or also we call these divisions as in states and UTs. Got it? And this is done only for the convenience of the administration. I hope that things have been loud and clear to you so far. Thereafter, according to Article 1, the territory of India can be classified into the three categories. Okay, always remember what is the classification on which article classify the Indian country. These are important things. Territories of the state, like what are the states we have and what are the territories. Union territories, UT, territories that may be acquired by the government of India at any time. All right. So basically, you could say, suppose if we say 28 states. All right. So basically, their territorial boundaries. All right. That's the first thing. Thereafter, if we talk about nine union territories, then basically their territorial boundaries. All right. And basically, there is a provision for those territories that India may acquire at any time. For those territories that India may acquire at any time. All right. So remember that these are the three territorial divisions in the country of India. All right. The name of state and union territories and their territorial extent are mentioned in the first schedule of the constitution. All right. At present, there are 28 states and 9 UTs, which I have told you. All right. The provision of the constitution pertaining to the states are applicable to all states in the same manner because there is a single constitution for all the states. However, there are some special provisions under Part 21 applicable to some states like the state of Maharashtra, Gujarat, Nagaland, Assam, Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, Telangana, Sikkim, Mizoram. Sorry, that was Andhra Pradesh, not Arunachal. Okay, this is Arunachal Pradesh, Goa, and Karnataka. Override the general provisions relating to the state as a class. So basically, what happened that there is a single constitution which uniformly applies on all over the states of the country. All right, but there are certain states like the state of Maharashtra, Gujarat, Nagaland, Assam, Manipur, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Sikkim, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Goa, and Karnataka, which having some special provisions which are mentioned under Part 21. Okay, which are different from the general provisions which relating to the state as a class. All right, and what are these special provisions? We will see in the further lecture. All right. So, students, basically in this lecture, we have covered till here. In the next lecture, we will begin from here. Till then, just revise all the facts and figures which we have discussed in this lecture. Be ready for the another lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture and thank you.